Hi, everyone, and welcome to Arise and Shine interviews. My name is Coach Bev, and this is the interview series where I interview women that are doing extraordinary things for God. And so tonight I'm really excited. I have Marseeniah Lynch with me tonight, and I'll just read her bio. She's a believer, wife, and a homeschooling mom of four. She has a passion for marriage and family with a love for all things creative. She decided to pursue her love for decor and decorating to begin a home decor business specializing in home accents. She's looking forward to its growth, to becoming all that she could see it to be and dream it to be. So welcome, Marseeniah. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So let's start off with how you got started. Because people are probably like, homeschooling mom at four. It's like, oh, because people, because during COVID, many people became homeschoolers,
Right.
not voluntarily, right?
Yeah.
So you've been doing it even before this. So
Yes.
just tell us, sort of how you even came to start your decor business.
Okay. So by no means is it fully in at this moment, just because I am a homeschooling mom of four. I've still got home life, and I always just believe in putting that as my priority. So it's taking its time, and I'm leisurely kind of going into it, but I've always loved creating. My hands have just always been my favorite things to work with. So whether it was gifts, birthday parties, and maybe you've seen even with the kids' birthdays, I've always done backdrops for all of their birthdays. So I love working with my hands. I love creating things and I love decorating. And I narrowed it down to deciding that I wanted to do home decor instead of decorating for events, because I love also decorating my home. I use that. My home is like my palette. So I literally go around my house and just renovating, decorating different spaces in my home. And that's kind of where I just spawned it from, is just whatever I made for my home is what I placed as an item
Mm-hmm.
for home accents. So whatever I would think that I would like as an accent in my home is what I would say, you know what, this is something that I would like to make as a product. And
Okay.
that's kind of how I directed myself towards just specializing in home accents instead of just everything that I wanted to do, because I can't spread myself that far and wide. It's too much, but I know that I love home decorating, and so why not do home accents, which is what I love creating. I started it off with centerpieces. I made it for a couple people and they said, wow, you should sell this. It's really nice. It's really good. I've had people approach me to make centerpieces for events. So I've done bridal shower centerpieces, event centerpieces, home centerpieces, and that's where I'm starting right now. And then I'll spin off into other home accents as I go along.
And so you made a really good comment there in terms of, there's a lot you can do, but you just simply cannot spread yourself thin. You
Yeah.
have four children.
Yeah.
What are the ages of your children? We can hear them in the background.
10, soon to be 9, 5, and 3.
Right. So you have a busy household.
Yeah.
And so because, I guess tonight, what we'll really work on is encouraging moms,
Mhm.
that have, and how do you work on your purpose at the same time when you're, taking care of the home. So
Yeah.
I love that. So
Yeah.
how did you decide to narrow it down to home accents, for example?
Well, for me, as a believer, I usually always go with prayer first. So praying and seeking and asking God, what direction do I take? Where does my passion really lie? I use opportunities when there were birthday parties, I'd be the one to put up my hand and say, I do the decorating for the birthday party. After doing a few, I realized, you know what? No, I don't really want to do that. That's going to take
Okay.
too much of my time. It's going to be too time consuming. Preparing from the night before, the week before, it's going to take up too much of my time from what I consider my priority, which is my family. So I said, you know what? Definitely not the event decorating. That's not the direction I want to go. And then I just continued with, I know I still want to create. I know I love creating. I know I love decorating. Narrow it down to what's quick and easy for me to do. And also, like I said, because it's something that I'm doing throughout my home, if I'm putting effort into making it for my home, it's already done. So I can just take that and make it a product for every or anyone who likes what I create.
And that's a great way. So for my faith-based audience that watches this, prayer is the absolute first step, right? And again, when Marseeniah is in a different season of life where kids are much older, you can go to town with whatever at that time. But but the key is you're still doing the thing, you're just doing it on a much smaller scale, what you can handle around your other things. So I love that. So you don't throw away your priorities. You have to have your priorities in check. You can't just put the kids by the wayside and just go after your purpose. That's not what I'm trying to help women to do. So I love that you're doing that, Marseeniah. And I like also that when you did something, you're volunteering for it, saying, hey, I'll try that. And then you realize, you know what? No. With the birthing thing, it's gonna be stress, people stressing you out. You know, you have to be so prepped, right? Yes. Ahead of time. Whereas with the other thing, with the accents that you're doing, it's when you have time and you.
Yes. So it's according to my schedule, what can fit in, because I mean, not everyone is at the same place or space, but for me, because again, my priority is, you know what, making sure that I'm doing well with my kids, making sure that I am taking care of my home, making sure that the things that I value, I still keep them at the forefront. Not to say that I don't value my creativity, but I love it. It's also a stress reliever as well for me, which is why I also love it. So because I value those things first, whatever I fill my time with thereafter is not going to overstep that, is not going to take that over. And now my business becomes the forefront, because I never want it to be like that. Not in this season anyways. Like you said, once my kids get older, they become a little bit more independent, then I can put a little bit more time in my business. And even with like talking with my husband, because originally when I started, I did have a lot of expectation on myself. Like I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, I need to make sure I'm pushing out like one item once a month, and the marketing and the advert and everything. And he kind of looked at me, he's like, okay, is your purpose here to make a whole lot of money?
Right.
Or is your purpose here to kind of just grow and just work on your craft, work on your skills, and build your way up? Like, know what your purpose is and what you're doing. If you're trying to build like a career out of this and a business out of this, and you want it for full-time income, then I can understand setting these really stringent goals for yourself, right? But if it's just kind of a leisure as you go and watch it growing as you go, then you take a different step to it. So he said, step back, readjust your expectations on yourself, because you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and just take it as you go. You know what I mean? You don't have like a floodload of people coming in right now saying they want to buy. So take it one step at a time and take it easy, because you've got so much going on at the same time. You can't do it all, right?
And that's the great thing, is that you're able to, have that partner through your husband to help you to look at, what am I doing right here? Because that's what you initially think when people talk about the side hustle thing.
Right.
It's
like, grind.
And then you're tired, the kid's tired, everybody's, it's a hot mess.
Nothing gets done well.
Nothing gets done well.
You're spreading yourself super thin. And so you're doing bits and pieces of things, but nothing is getting done well. Whereas if I step back and take off the expectation, I can do this well, and I can still feel good about what I'm building as well, because I'm putting in the time that I've expected myself to, like a realistic expectation. And so I don't feel guilty about not putting in this whole lot of time or pushing out as much products that I thought I needed to. So it's just readjusting my mindset and my expectations on myself, and making sure that what I set as priority, I keep as priority.
And I think with that comes, the satisfaction in life. You know what I mean? Because really, you may have been putting out a few more things, but you would have been haggard about it.
Right.
Because everything, right, at the end of the day, that's not the point, right?
Plus also kind of biting off more than I can chew. Like, imagine if I go now and I put out all these things and I do the marketing and I do all of this, and then I start getting people, but I can't meet the demand because I've still got all of what I said is at the forefront right now happening. So I don't want to, it's not to say set myself up for failure, but it kind of is. If I do all of that and I don't have the time to do it.
Right.
I'd
Right.
have to step back anyways. So I might as well go in at the right pace initially, anyhow.
So what made you decide to get into this kind of thing?
A home decor?
Yeah.
Um, Again, just always creating, always wanting to create. And even interior decorating, I started a course on that as well. I'm doing
Okay.
a program on that as well. So the eventual hope is to have my own brand and then
Okay.
become an interior decorator. So that's the long term goal,
Term
right?
goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So decorating has always been my thing. Like I've always loved doing it. And starting my own business has always kind of been my thing too.
Yeah.
From I when I was in high school, my hands again, I know how to do hair. And so on my lunch break, while everybody was kind of chilling and doing their thing, I was in
Yeah.
the corner braiding hair, making
Really
money on my lunch break. Yeah.
make a little, a little
Making it a
coin.
little, like the side hustle in high school on my lunch break.
Okay.
Then I moved on to creating gift baskets because again, just my hands, just creating things with my hands.
Yes.
I tried doing hair. I realized that that's not for me. Again, the time consuming part of it. It's just not something I want to do. Standing on my feet all day,
Right.
I really admire people that do that. But then I
Yes.
recognize that that's not the avenue that I want to go into. So
Yes.
continuing going on, having my home and realizing that I love spending time putting pieces together, working with different pieces, working with accents, doing all of that. I just said, you know what, this is something I actually really like and I want to pursue it intentionally, pursuing it.
And also the feedback from others and just like, wow, Marseeniah,
Right.
this is really good. I
Yeah.
love this. And
The
so that's
feedback
the
is
other
good.
thing.
Hmm.
Feedback's necessary because
Yeah.
we can sometimes think we're good at something when you're
When you're not.
right,
Right.
when you're not, and you have to be
Yeah.
honest with yourself.
It's true
Right.
though. I think I sing really well, but like everybody else around me is
Doesn't
saying,
say that.
that doesn't, you know what I mean? Whereas anything that I've honestly ever done with my hands, whether it's hair or gift baskets or mostly just like for instance, the centerpieces that I have, my aunt asked me, I made one at home just for making it. And my aunt came by, she's like, that's really good. Did you buy that? I was like, no, I made it. And then
Right.
she ended up saying, can you make one for my home in Jamaica? I want to bring it back to Jamaica with me. And so she really loved it. And then my mother-in-law saw it and everyone was just kind of like, there you go again. Same thing with
Yes.
the backdrops and the birthday parties. Did you buy that? Did you get somebody to come and do that? No, I didn't. I did it myself. So constant feedback on just the creative side of who I am and creating things with my hands has been the encouragement to help me to say, you know what, you can do this and you do have a gift in that. Pay attention to it and seek God in how to kind of direct you in doing that.
And there's nothing wrong with starting slow. As a matter of fact, it's biblical to be slow and steady.
Hmm.
So you learn as you go and that type of thing. So so what you're doing as a busy mom, and for other busy moms that will watch this at some point, is you could start just with the little things with what you can do right now, whatever
Right.
your purpose happens to be, or whatever your gift happens to be
Hmm.
on a smaller scale. And then when the kids are older and so on, and or you're in a different season, you could scale up
You ramp it
then at
up.
that point, right?
Right.
Because you would have learned a lot of things
Yeah.
during that time, right?
I mean, most of my time doing anything is at nighttime when everybody's gone to bed. Because I can't do it in the daytime, especially with the 3-year-olds kind of.
Yes, true.
I started a project and I heard, Mommy, can I paint with you? And I'm like, no, you
No.
can't paint with me. This is not, just go ahead.
Kidding,
This is
right?
somebody's
This
thing
is
that they
serious.
ordered. Like I can't go crazy on it. And some days I have the patience to say, okay, sit beside me and you can paint while I paint. But then
Right.
it makes the process longer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these are the things that you have to factor in when whatever season you're in, if you can do it as much as you desire to right now. Or if you can just start small, work on your skills, refine your skills, learn new skills. I went out and bought a Cricut. I'm learning how to use that, right? So it's seeing new techniques, learning new skills, and building on that so that when you are in the season to go in full fledged, you've developed so much than where you were, instead of saying, you know what, I can't do anything right now and looking it as a negative, but using it as a season to build on who you are, build on your craft, build on your skills, all those things so that when you're ready, you're ready and you're ready to go fully in on it.
Yeah, you can hit the ground running at that point. And same with myself. Before I became a certified life coach, I took the courses. They were at night when everybody else is sleeping. So same with you, right? And, so it takes a little longer, but it's okay. I was still making steps towards what I wanted to be doing now. So that's a great nugget right there for other moms, that there's still something you can do now, believe it or not, right? Whether it's an hour a night or, something like that, right? So that's fantastic. So I know you're creative with your hands, but there's other things that you do as well. So what are some of the other things you're involved in?
Right now, it's been difficult with how everything is, right?
Oh, that's true. Yes. Yeah.
To reach out as much as we want to, just because everybody's at a different space and a different place, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But I've always loved just encouraging families, women, young women. That's always kind of been at the heart of who I am. And even I looked at my husband and I was like, this may be away from the norm, but my desire has always kind of been to be an amazing mom and wife. Like I've always wanted to pour into the next generation and families and marriages. And so whenever I get the opportunity to, I do it, and I do it with joy. Right.
Yes.
So that's another side of who I am. Like I said, like marriage and families, I am passionate about that. And encouraging other women as well too, I am passionate about that. So whenever God gives me the opportunity to do it, I use it and I do that.
That's fantastic. So how would someone get in touch with you? So can you grab some pieces? Do you have any pieces close by you?
Oh, no, I do. Wait, hold on. But okay. I'm going to the room.
That's okay. That's okay. So I'll just chat to the folks as you go grab one or two things or whatever, so that at least they can see a sample of what. So Marseeniah is just going to grab a few crafts, and I'll make sure that whether she's on Instagram or however, you can actually get in touch with her, so you can get an idea of some of the things that she's done. She really does do a great job. And I'll just take this time just to talk to you about some upcoming vision board parties that I have coming up on November 20th and November the 27th. November 20th will be a vision board party just with the ladies. And the 27th will be a Mummy and Me vision board party. And if you don't know what a vision board is, it really just is a visual representation of what you hope for, what you hope to do for a period of time. So for example, for 2022, if you want to basically take what you believe God is doing, wants you to do in life, and you find pictures and words to be able to put it on a Bristol board or something like that, if you're doing a physical one, or you can do a digital one as well. That's what I've done. I usually tend to do both. And it's just a way to have it then to post it and to have it at the forefront. So that way you can see every day, what you're supposed to be working on. So
I'm back.
So excellent. You're back. Okay, good. So
this is a centerpiece that I made.
Love it.
This was just one that I made for at home, just messing around with paints and flowers and whatever not. So
yeah, love it. Yes.
Then I've got one that I made for fall.
Yes, I really like that. Yeah.
And then currently a friend of mine, she wanted to put up some canvases in her workspace. She's a hairdresser, and she saw these 9 canvases that she really loves. And so I started making them.
Ooh,
so
mindset.
Basically it'll be 3
Courage.
Yes. In a row, like a grid pattern kind of thing.
Okay, and she's going to
she's going to
put them across. I love that. I love that.
Those are just some of the things.
Some examples.
Yeah.
So keep going.
I've got a couple wooden signs that I'm working on, the welcome signs that
everybody. Oh yes, that you put on, whether it's when you first enter the home and things like that. That's fantastic. So if someone wanted to get in touch with you for a project,
I do have a website.
Okay.
It's ML Divine, DIVINE design.com. That's right.
So what we'll do is we'll put it in. I'll put it in the description. No problem. Yes. Okay. So we'll link to that. So that's fantastic. So let's just talk about a couple of tips in how you run your household.
Okay.
Okay. What's worked for you?
What's worked for me is having not so much a schedule, but a rhythm.
Okay.
Something I learned maybe a year or so ago was just to have a daily rhythm in our home. And that's kind of what's worked to keep my kids, and I put it where they can see it. And so each day, usually the mornings are pretty much the same: breakfast, brush your teeth, make your room, whatever, whatever, come down for breakfast. And while they're eating, because I found that while they're eating, they're pretty attentive because their mouth is
Mm,
full, so they can't talk. Their ears are open, but their mouth is
love it.
to have their attention. So
Yeah.
that's when I would usually do our devotional time and whatever books or whatever that we might be interested in. I would do that then with them, and then they would get their free time. I would make snack, and then we'll do our lessons, and then we'll kind of do whatever we have left for the day. But I always just keep our flow visible for them to see. I have days where I try my best to stick to, this day may be for washing the bathtub. This day will be for my laundry. That day will be for my two little ones' laundry. Friday is for the big boys to do their own laundry. So trying to keep things on a specific day, that way I'm not trying to finish everything in
Okay.
one day at one time, right? Um, I used to try and season all my meat and stuff on the weekends, but now my weekends are packed. So I think,
Mm,
like I was mentioning before, I would try now to maybe do dinner from in the morning. That way in the evenings, it's already kind of done. But if I do decide to go with like a even evening thing, then I leave them to kind of occupy themselves while I make dinner within that hour. So we just really kind of try to keep a daily rhythm, and not so much like a 7 o'clock we're doing this, 8 o'clock we're doing that. We just kind of go with the flow of the day that I have set out, if that makes sense. I don't know if you
it
want more detail.
No, that's great. And that's, I think that would be some great tidbits for other moms that are just like,
Yeah, yeah,
or that maybe just starting out and that type of thing. That I like that, just setting sort of a rhythm and then understanding when you best have their attention and when you just don't.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
and then just like making time for us. Like that's another thing too for me and my husband.
okay, tell us
Before,
about that.
yeah. So before everything kind of shut down, what we would usually do is my mother-in-law is kind of readily available. And now that my sister is also a little bit older, she's also available once she's not working to come over and stay with the kids, and we can go out and get some time together.
Nice.
Things have changed a bit, so we're home more.
Okay.
So what we the last time what we did is we kind of like sent everybody to bed, and we kind of ordered pizza, came up to our room and ate pizza in bed. Movie. But it
Right.
works. It's still quality
Still,
time,
absolutely.
right?
You,
So whatever space we can find to spend time together, we still again make that a priority.
yeah, and it really is, exactly. So how do you prioritize things? So what's number one, number two, or do you do it that way, or do you have
Like as in for
a
our
group?
day.
Yeah, for your priorities.
Oh, for myself.
Yeah, for yourself.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, well, I know that I have to get up ahead of time of everybody else. It's been hard since I've just been kind of going, going, going. But I know that I have to get up before everybody else in order to get any time for myself. So from like 6 to 8 is my time. If anyone gets up before that, which is usually Josiah, which is 3, here's some chocolate milk, have a seat, go back up to your room if you need to, but mommy's not available right now. And so it's
Mhm.
usually 6 to 8 where I would say get up, maybe go for a walk, go for a jog, or just work out. But I would probably do my devotion first,
Okay.
and I would work out, and then I would come back in, take a shower, have breakfast ready, and then we can get started with our day. I made a deal with my husband on Sundays. I would either get the Sunday mornings to myself because I do need some time to myself, or our kids do basketball and soccer. So I would either take my son to basketball on Wednesdays, or my husband would. So while he's at basketball, we get that hour and a half just for us to do whatever we
Hmm.
want to do. So whether it's reading a book or just having a coffee, listening to a podcast, things like that. It's wherever we can find the space and time to make time for me, that's what I'm going to do. But my chunk of just getting my day going and setting myself at a good pace is really from like 6 to 8 in the morning.
Mm.
before everybody else is up. That's the only time I'm going to get quiet time, because the rest of the day just gets really crazy really quickly.
Very, yeah. So excellent. So you shared so many great tidbits. I thank you so much for your time. And folks, I will put her website in the description. So thanks again for joining us on Rise and Shine Interviews. And we hope to see you soon. Take care.
Thanks, Bev.
You're welcome.